Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's workshop, really, about how to make successful and sustainable goals for the year ahead. So, delighted to be here. This will be available offline afterwards, so if you want to come back to it and reference it. Now, it is a workshop, so it is really, really helpful if you have a pen and a piece of paper handy, because we're going to work through some stuff that may help you to improve and hone those goals and intentions for the year ahead. So rather than just having them for the new year, we have them for the entire year, and we start to see some change and make some implementations. So first of all, let's have a little look at what New Year's resolutions we may have had or what intentions we may have for the year. We're 9 days in. If you're a bit like me, last week I got on and said that I was going to pop on every evening, but of course did the cardinal sin of not actually planning, and so that didn't really happen terribly well. So instead I've decided to do these series of webinars that hopefully will kickstart your new year into being a successful one, and that you reach the intentions and goals that you want to. So I'd really like, if there are some people on live, then to pop them directly into the comments, but even if you're watching it on replay, is to let me know what some of your goals or intentions are for this year ahead, and let us know what the plan is, or what intentions you've had so far. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. Not a couple of minutes, I'll give you a few seconds to do that. If you are at home and you're watching this in replay, then do make a note of kind of the intentions that you've already made, because we're going to look back and see where we've gotten with those, and how we've achieved what we've achieved with those. There is a little bit of a delay on the live between me getting comments or seeing comments here and you putting them in, but do give us a shout out and let us know that you're watching, and what those intentions are for the year. Okay, so are some of those intentions things like to be healthier, to be fitter, to have a better work-life balance, to lose weight, to be a better partner, or maybe they're things like, I'm going to lose 2 stone in 4 weeks, I'm going to run a 5k race at the end of the month, or maybe even the one that always sort of, I think a lot of us try and aspire to, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to start a keto diet, I'm going to exercise every day, I'm going to spend more time with the family, and I'm going to have a better work-life balance. So my big question is, how realistic are those goals? First of all, how specific are they? And secondly, how realistic are they? And we're going to come back to those two things a little bit later on in the workshop. It may seem a little bit negative, but I think it's always important to look back. So when we start to think about new goals or new intentions or setting new sort of aspirations, it's important to look back and see what we've already done and what hasn't worked in that. So was it because we weren't clear on what our goal was? Was it too vague? Was it because we procrastinated? Was it because we let everything else in life get in on top of what we were trying to achieve? So thinking back about what hasn't worked, Einstein always says, the definition of insanity is trying the same things over again and expecting a different result. So looking back and seeing where those pitfalls are and where we actually stumbled, fell, whatever way you want to put it, the last time, then it's important to learn from that. And as we make our goals moving forward, we try and tweak those so that we don't make the same mistakes again. So having a little bit of a think about it, about what went well or what didn't go well from the last time. Now, that's the only negative thing we're going to think about for the rest of this. We're going to then focus on positive things and how we can create positive goals and positive intentions for the year ahead. For me, there's really three important things that we need to look at before we even start to think about the goals or intentions that we want to set for ourselves. And I use an analogy here. So if I popped up to you and said, hey, listen, I'm about to get in my car, head off on a journey. Can you give me some directions? Now you're going to look at me really, really bizarrely, and what you're going to ask me is, hey, Trev, first of all, where are we? So, where are we? In Belfast? Are we in Dublin? California? Wherever we might be. So where are we starting from? And the second thing you're going to ask me is, where do you want to go? What's the end of that journey? What is the end point of your journey, and where do you want to get to? The third thing that you need to know, and this is probably one of the most important things, is why you're doing that journey. And this is a really, really important thing for you when you're looking at your goals. So, number one, where you're starting from, and sometimes that can be a bit of a difficult thing to look at. So if you're thinking about your weight, it's important to know what your weight is. It's important to know how many calories you need to be taking in. It's important to know how many calories you're actually taking in. And then, what exercise are you doing at the moment? What exercise do you want to get to, of course? What weight do you want to get to? Over what sort of period of time? And if you don't know all of these things, then actually setting the goal or intention becomes a bit nebulous. So therefore, we don't have a target, we don't have anything that we can measure it against, and we don't have any clear direction as to where we want to go. So, first thing is, as I said, is where are we now? And no matter what your goal or intention is, it's important to take a little bit of an audit as to where you are at this moment in time. So whether that's in your work life, whether that's in your personal life, whether it's to do with health and fitness, sitting down and looking at what's actually going on at the moment. And then we need to think about why we want to get to where we want to get to. And this is where you kind of do that impression of a 2-year-old with the, yes, but why? Yes, but why? Yes, but why? In response to every single answer that you're given. And actually, that's a really important thing to do. So ask yourself over and over again, what is the why? I want to lose weight because I want to feel better. But why do you want to feel better? Well, I want to feel better because I want to spend time with my family. But why do you want to spend time with your family? Well, and dig right down as to what the ultimate reason is for you actually trying to set this goal and achieve it. So whether that's looking at, essentially it's attaching the emotion to the goal. And if you have an emotional attachment to the goal, then you are much more likely to achieve and succeed in that goal. So, summarize again. First of all, set down an audit where you are at the moment. Then think about where you want to get to. And finally, the thing that's really going to be the driving factor is thinking about the why of it. Why do you want to get to that place? Okay. The next thing is looking at the goal itself. Is it realistic? Is it going to be achievable? Okay. So as I said there, if you go into the new year trying to start a keto diet, lose weight, exercise every day, have a better work-life balance, that's all overwhelming. And you might be able to do it for a few days, but it's not sustainable. So while those goals might be good in the sort of bigger scheme of things, you need to start to break them down. So we work much better and we are much more motivated if we achieve things, if we can see results happening. If we set our goal to be unattainable or to be difficult for us to achieve, then we're going to become disheartened. So I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. That's probably not a realistic goal. You want to set just something that's achievable and that you can actually get to that point. So although you might have the overarching goal of losing 3 or 4 stone, the smaller chunk is that you want to lose £1 each week for the next 4 weeks. And that's a really clear and what they call a SMART goal. So it's specific, it's measurable, it's time restricted, so there's this time setting on it as well. Those sort of goals, the smaller goals, are much more accessible and much more achievable. So Atomic Habits is a great book, and they talk about making small incremental changes over time that get you to your ultimate goal. So rather than trying to take on the entire goal in one go, making those small changes. And when I'm talking to people about sort of dietary changes, I always give the example of kind of a digestive biscuit. So a plain digestive biscuits, if you have 2 of those a day, that's 150 calories a day. You multiply that by 7 days of the week, you're talking roughly 1,000 calories. And then over the year, if you have 2 digestive biscuits just with a cup of tea, very small, not quite innocuous, something that you would do out of habit, that leads to 52,000 calories a year. So actually, and I know it's much more complex than just calories in and calories out, but I'm just giving this an example. Cutting out those 2 digestive biscuits every day over a period of year reduces the amount of calories by a significant number. And if you can make 1 or 2 of those type of changes over a period of time, then you end up with a much bigger result at the end of it. The same applies to your fitness. If you've become unfit, then don't try and start by doing an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour walk. Start off by doing 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, and see how you go, and gradually build from there. That way, you're not going to wake up the next morning aching, and then you decide that actually you're in too much pain to be able to even do the walk the next day. Day 3 comes along, day 4 comes along, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, I've missed a few days now, and blah, blah, blah. Try and do things small and achievable as you go along. Okay, so just a quick recap then. So setting goals. Yes, it's good to have overarching goals, but break them into smaller pieces. 2, make sure the goals are specific so that they're not nebulous. So I want to be healthier. Healthier than who? Healthier than what? Healthier than, what's your benchmark here? What are you measuring against? And actually, things like healthier, fitter, are all quite vague. And therefore you can back out of those goals much easier. So you can justify to yourself, well, I am a bit healthier than I was because I'm actually doing a 5-minute walk every day. I'm actually doing eating 1 less digestive biscuit. But actually, is that where you want to be? Is that what you want to achieve? And so therefore, trying to be specific about your goals is really, really important, and not to leave them in that nebulous sort of framework. Making sure you know where you're starting, you know where you want to get to, and you know your why are 3 of the most important things. And then breaking it down into actionable points. So it's Tony Robbins, I'm going to have to get this now. So Tony Robbins gives the thing that never leave the scene of a decision without taking action. I think that's super important. So yes, you've decided that you are going to be able to walk 5 kilometers without getting out of breath in the next 3 months. Okay, so you decide to do the Couch to 5K, for example, or whatever it might be. Make that decision, take the action, know what the action points are. So whether you sign up for the Couch to 5K and you start to do it and you follow their program, or whether it's your own program where you're cutting out 500 calories a day from your diet, whatever it might be, but don't leave the decision without taking action. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. I hope that's been useful for you. Next week, I'm going to be doing a little bit around getting started on a sustainable weight loss journey. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about how you work out what that starting point is for you, how you work out what number of calories or how you're going to go about making that change in your weight, and then how to make it sustainable. So how to use that to actually achieve a sustainable weight loss. And again, that means not doing these crash diets where you lose the weight and then it goes straight back on as soon as you fall out of the habit of actually following the diet. So different tricks and tips to try and help you start on a sustainable diet and how to get you motoring along there. The week after that, I'm going to do something a little bit on making time. So in our time-poor society, how we can actually carve out some time to be able to do these things. And actually, when we look at it, we may find that actually we've got lots of little pockets of time that we can use to try and achieve these goals, again, using small increments of change over a period of time. So it's not that you're going to go to the gym and you're going to spend 2 hours at the gym, and so therefore you're not going to be able to collect with kids, or you're not going to be able to do something. It's about finding these small little pockets of time and looking at the things that we do and deciding how important they are and whether we need to move things along, change them, or actually just eliminate them completely. So that's in a couple of weeks' time. We'll be talking a little bit about that. So if you've enjoyed tonight's seminar or workshop, then please give us a little bit of a like, give us a comment down below. Do invite your friends to the Exploring Lifestyle Medicine group. We will be doing a little bit more this year. Last year was a bit of a challenge for me. So a bit more coming through this year, as well as the launch of the Lifestyle Medicine Blueprint course, which will be available in mid-February or thereabouts, which I am quite excited about, which goes through all of the things that the pillars of lifestyle medicine and how you can adapt and adopt those to improve your own individual health outcomes and improve your own individual health span, and in turn have a healthier and longer lifespan. So until the next time, thanks very much for tuning in. Do give us a like, as I said, and invite some people to the group, and we'll get some discussion hopefully